If you're a regular watcher of my channel, you'll know that I can't grow anything to do with the onion family. Onions, spring onions, shallots, garlic, leeks, anything that's even vaguely connected to an onion or an onion taste, I can't grow it. 2017 was utterly miserable. I thought I had made improvements in 2018, but what started off looking like this ended up looking like this. I don't know what I did to upset the allium family, but it's quite clear at this stage they're never going to forgive me. On the bottom left you can see a brand new raised bed I made for the garlic. On the right is the bed for the onions, and to the back, the right hand side of the rhubarb cage there, is the bed I made for the shallots. Now my garden is on very heavy clay, so I dug all the stones out. I added lots and lots of well-aged manure. This is much earlier on, before I came to plant the onions, shallots and garlic, so it had plenty of time to mix in with the soil and rot down. I added perlite to help with the drainage, and I left it stand for a little while. When it came to planting, I spaced everything out quite well, as I thought anyhow. Buried everything to the correct depth, watered everything in well, and then as the onions started to grow, I put cage and netting over the bed to stop the local and neighbours' cats coming into the bed and disturbing it. But here's where I think I might have made my first mistake. You can see the garlic's not grown too bad in the background there. The netting over the onions I took off, I think, a bit too early, because you can see there's been cats and foxes through that bed. And this is a few days later. Now I should have, I suppose, put the netting back, but it's really, really cheap, nasty netting, and it basically just shredded as I removed it. So the onions have got properly flattened. Then I went out one night to check them. Now I was quite pleased up to this point that they seemed to be actually forming what to me looks like an onion sitting on the soil. So I was really pleased with that. And then I went out one night on a snail and slug hunt like I normally do, and I noticed all this discoloration on the onion bulbs, and it looks like there's something actually living in the layers. And then I noticed it was on all of the plants, all of the onion bulbs. Every single one of them had this discoloration and the breaking of the layers of the onion. But the only thing is, the onions were very firm in the ground, so I don't think it was that, what's it called, there's some sort of root rot that affects the onions. I can't think what it's called now. These onion bulbs are absolutely solid in the ground. Okay, so harvest time came around, and actually some of them didn't look too bad. I mean, that's not a picture showing the best of them, but I followed the guidelines I could find. I harvested them when the tops had died back. They were all quite hard to pull out of the ground, so I was quite confident whatever this root disease is, that wasn't whatever ails these particular onions. Hung them up to dry. We had a beautiful summer, warm, dry weather for weeks and weeks, so that helped. So I made sure they were hanging in a well-aired place, sheltered. There's lots of air could circulate through the bulbs, and they dried it. And then when I peeled back some of the brown layers, I discovered these. I don't know if these guys were damaging the onion or if they just happened to be passengers on the onion. I don't even know what they are. They're some sort of beetle or bug. But again, if anybody in the comments can let me know what they are, or if you've ever seen them on your onions. I decided to peel them. I thought at this stage they're going to, whatever it is, may be spreading to even the good onions. So I decided what we were going to do was peel them and salvage what we could, because you can freeze onions. So I thought we'll just get rid of the worst and freeze. And you can see these bugs, they were all over the onions. And again, you can see the damage on that onion, but I don't know if they caused it, or if whatever caused that damage attracted those guys, or if they're just totally incidental to the damage that's been done on the onion. They're just some sort of bug or beetle that is quite common. I don't know. So yeah, that didn't look great. So what I decided to do is I would just basically peel the onions and separate out the worst, and they'd probably get binned. I can't remember what I did. No, yeah, I'll probably bin them and keep the rest. Oh, these are the good ones that would be frozen. Well, I thought they were good ones, but every time I looked, I kept finding something. Now, this is a different thing. You can see that's actually rotting. There's some sort of grey mold on that onion. That's what I was worried about spreading. So you have a bug and you have mold. Some of them don't look too bad. sad. And actually, they all tasted absolutely fine. They weren't used in salads or anything like that. They went into, I think we added them to stews and a few dishes like that. And again, like I said, some of them I did several sifting processes, because some of them on the surface of them they looked quite okay, and then when I peeled back, you got this grey mould. And if anybody could advise me what caused that, so I can try and avoid it this year, because oh yes, I am growing onions again this year, because I am determined that I will grow an onion, a leek, a spring onion, or something to do with the onion family. So yeah, that's very disappointing. And even as I was peeling the layers of the good onion to chop them up fine and freeze them, some we froze whole, some because this stuff seemed to be on all the onions, whatever it is. There was even the layers, even within the layers of what looked like good onion, I was still finding whatever this is. So I'm chopping up that again. That onion is quite firm, it's quite clean, and then you go down a couple of layers and you find this alien thing, whatever it is. So that's the sad story of my onions in 2018. It is actually an improvement on 2017, because I actually got what looks like onion bulbs sitting on top of the soil. I grew them I didn't grow the onions in the garden in 2017. I grew them all in containers. Most of them didn't grow, and the ones that did grow, these are all grown from sets, by the way, not from seed. I wouldn't even think of growing onion from seed when I can't even grow them from set. The ones that did grow in the containers never grew anything, grew bigger than scallions. No, we did eat them. I harvested them and ate them. And like I said, we actually salvaged what we could of these and froze them and added them to stews and casseroles and a few things like that. So, and they were absolutely fine. But yeah, if you know what that fungus was, what those bugs are, I'd love to hear in the comments if you've ever experienced anything like that with your onions. That's the sad story of my onions in 2018. As always, thanks for watching. Bye for now.